And we're recording.
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. So, so we're starting from sort of the very beginning part here, including the bonding helper. So we've got this spreadsheet, which has all this information in it. And this is exactly the information that we need to provide to the helper. And basically what this information contains is everything it needs in order to generate the deploys used for bonding so that you don't have to do any of that work yourself. So all I've done is I've copied the row corresponding to my name and I put it in Notepad here. And then I've converted tabs to spaces because by default you can see back tabs. And then I'm copying that, I'm going into my command prompt here. And I'm running the command, Java jar bonding helper. And then I put in all those parameters. Then it runs for a moment. And it gives you back some row files. So we've got 3 row files here: unlock, forward, and bond. And so you're going to need to deploy these in that order. In fact, unlock and forward can be deployed together, but bond needs to go separately. So because no one except for Meta and Kelly is running a currently bonded validating node, we have to deploy to their nodes first, right? Because they're the only ones that can actually do a propose as of right now. So, where's the chat window gotten to? Here we go. So we go and we look up. Meta says that her node is up, and this is her IP address. So what we can do here is we're going to do a deploy like we normally do, except we're going to deploy it to Meta's node instead of to our own locally running node. So that'll look something like this. And then I need to give the gRPC host is Meta's IP address. Sorry, it Zoom automatically puts in the return character, which is very annoying. So then we're deploying, and we need to now provide various parameters because we're in the process of getting in payment. We haven't quite done it yet, but for now, anyways, we need to put in some stuff. And actually, just for the sake of this, I'm going to start by running --help, just so that we can see everything here. Right, so we're doing the deploy subcommand. So we need to specify the address that we're paying from, as well as its nonce and price-related things. None of these arguments actually do very much as of today, as in, like, don't worry, you don't have to spend out of your wallet that you were given. But as of, probably next week, you will. So anyways, right. So getting back to this, gRPC host, and Meta's thing was this, deploy. So then we're going to do -f, and it doesn't actually matter what this is because, again, as of today, it doesn't do anything. And -n can be 0. The flow limit you should set as something relatively high, because I think this one actually does do something as of today. And if you specify a flow limit that's too low, you will run out of flow and your deploy won't work. So let's specify some large number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A billion flow is probably enough. It's probably more than enough, but that's what we want. We don't want to run out. And then the price, again, doesn't really do anything because it's the conversion from flow to rev. So we'll just put it at 1. And then we give our file. So the file that we want to start with is unlock. So we go ahead and we run that. So we get a success back. So that's great. Then we do the same thing again, but we're going to deploy the forwarder. And if people are interested, we can at some point take a look inside these files and sort of pick apart what they're doing. All right, so we've got our unlock and our forwarder have both been deployed to Meta's node. So now Meta needs to go and propose a block.
Hey, does the forwarder need to be deployed to the same node as the previous?
Not necessarily, but when you do eventually deploy your bond contract, you need to, like, all the contracts need to exist together for them to work, right? So, so yeah, you can deploy to a bunch of different nodes, and once the blocks sort of get passed around, eventually it'll all work fine. But you know, it's easier just to give them all to one node, because then you sort of know they have the necessary blocks.
And when we do this, we also have to deploy against Meta's node.
Well, so I'm about to bond, right? When this process completes, I will have bonded. And so then you could deploy to my node, because then my node will also be a validator. And so in fact, sort of as we go along, there will be more and more options for where you can deploy these things. You just have to deploy it to a currently bonded validator.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
so that is the concept where if we could deploy to another shard by picking by bonding to something else.
Yeah, so different nodes will be a part of different shards, and yes, if you want to deploy a contract to a specific shard, you have to deploy to a node that is a part of that shard's network.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so have you proposed a block already, Meta?
Meta, you're muted.
Okay, well, there's been at least 2 blocks that have gone out, so I'm going to assume.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yes, I have proposed. The block's been gossiped. I've received it again. So, and I've received other deploys. And I'm proposing. So if you want to deploy, you're welcome to deploy, and I'll keep proposing.
Okay, and then the last step is to deploy your bond block, or your bonds deploy. And then once this ends up in a block, and once your node has that block, you're good to go. You're bonded, and your node can now do propose successfully.
Lee, the amount is in that testing wallets worksheet. So if you look on the row that you claimed, it's going to be in column D.
Got it. Thanks.
So should we be doing what Michael just did?
Mm-hmm.
And it's unlock, then forward, then bond, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Although unlock and forward can go in either order.
Okay.
It doesn't actually matter. They just need to go together. But bond needs to go last.
So as a reminder, the intention here is to make sure that we get everybody who wants to bonded. So if you are running into problems and are having questions, feel free to use the chat window. Feel free to come off mute. No question is too stupid because odds are I have already asked it.
Question. After I executed the unlocked and deploy unlocked and the second one is forward file, I need to wait for propose before I deploy the bind file. Yes?
Yes.
And how should
Yeah,
I?
so,
Yeah, please,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. How should I know it is already proposed? How I know that?
Well, if you're running your own node, which you should be, then you can look at your own node's logs and see when new blocks have come in.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Kelly, we haven't fixed the thread issue, have we yet, in Node?
Threading will be delivered at the end of the sprint.
I mean, the max threads is still set to some crazy number.
I guess so. I don't know.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I'm getting thread errors.
Flow limit should be anything greater than 1, Karen.
Flow limit should be a lot higher than
Oh, a
1.
lot higher.
Remember,
Sorry.
I
billion,
set mine to be
you did.
yeah. I set mine to be 1 billion.
Billion. That's a fun number.
So real quick, I also when I unzipped the jar file earlier, only got 2. I could have sworn I had 3, but I can't find my bond row file.
It will be in the.
You generate your bonds. They get generated by the bonding helper. So take a look at the worksheet for today. Right, the worksheet has these details in it somewhere.
Yep. No, you just pat it. Go down. Down, down, down. Yep.
Ah, yes, here it is. This guy. This tells you how to generate your.
Yeah, that's what I did, and I got the 2 other row files, but I didn't get the last one.
So you should
You
get a
only got
bond,
2 row files. Right?
bond, forward, and unlock would be the 3. Which ones did you get?
I have forward, unlock, and I could have sworn I had the bonds when I checked last night, but it's not there.
Well, just run it again, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
And it'll regenerate them all for you.
On the worksheet,
So
there's a typo. It says follow price instead of flow price.
Thank you. I'll fix that.
yes.
And I assume the flow price should be any price or?
Yeah, 1 is a fine value for that.
Give me 1 second, guys. My node has run into problems.
Okay, so Meta's node has run into problems, but that's fine because in principle my node is already bonded.
Yep. So go bond with Michael's right now.
So I will.
Or anyone else. Like, who else is bonded?
I'm sure some other people are bonded in the meantime.
I seem to be bonded as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bonded.
Great.
Yeah, so this is the IP address of my node. So if people want to specify me as the gRPC host, that's totally good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Michael, now that I'm bonded and I wanted to deploy a contract, should I use a normal command or should I put something added to like the options that you use it?
So once you're bonded, you can deploy against your own node. So the only flag extra that you don't need is
the full price and the.
No, you don't need to specify the host
Okay.
if you're deploying against your own node. But everything else you still need. This is not related to bonding. These parameters are related to paying for deploys. It's sort of in-process work, which will be completed shortly. And so at some point in the future, probably next week, maybe the week after, you'll have to actually specify these parameters to have meaningful values so that you're paying for your deploys using Rev.
Michael, when you get ready to propose, if you can propose, that would be great. Then I can start getting the state.
Yeah, sure. So,
excuse me, my node's back up.
I'll just go ahead and propose a quick thing here. So I'll deploy
if anybody wants to try show blocks, I understand that it works differently now.
Yeah, it should be working now with
Give it
Mike's.
a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael,
Oh,
I
look
got
at that!
I got the same. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
something. Okay, cool. Well, this is fun.
Same here.
Let's take a look at our log. Chat. No, just get a bunch of protocol handshakes.
Kelly, the show blocks works.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Kelly,
that's
you have
really-
5 blocks.
it's
Can you
back.
Kelly, can you do a deploy propose?
Sure.
How come I didn't get anything off?
Did you get any blocks, Michael? You got a 4.
I'm looking for, okay, because creator has 0. Wait, so I guess I wasn't bonded.
So my node died before I could get you bonded. That's probably what happened.
Does that
no
mean
one
we're,
really can propose.
so none of us are bonded if we went on Michael's?
That's right.
Correct. Anyone who deployed against me is not bonded because I was actually not bonded secretly.
So, Kelly.
How can we check if any one of us was bonded?
You try to do.
I tried with Neda.
Hold on one second. So what I need let's try to see if we can fix this. I need Kelly to do a deploy propose.
Yeah, give me just a second. I wasn't quite set up for this. Hold on.
Trial by fire. I have deploys here, but I'm a little concerned that if I propose without having the state from you, it's going to create a problem.
All right. I have to jigger with all the flow needs.
Yeah, I just have the Genesis block. That's all I've got.
Okay, let's see if this works. All right, I deployed.
And proposed?
And proposing now.
Okay.
Just thinking about it. Yep, I created block. I'll paste it in the chat. Block there.
Okay, here we go. I'm getting a block. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Blocks are coming to me. Sent block 4, sent block 5. Okay, let me just check show blocks and make sure I've got the
have
full
6.
state. Yeah. 6. All right, we're good to go. So let me now start proposing.
Okay, so it looks like Alex successfully got bonded. He
Well
gets
done,
a success
Alex.
message back.
All right, I have proposed a block. Mike, you want to try again?
So what's the best way to find out whether we've successfully bonded?
There's not a great way to figure it out as of today, unfortunately. There will be a great way to figure it out probably next week.
Yeah, soon.
But I guess if we propose and we get the invalid uninitiable block, we are not bonded.
Well, what
Correct.
you get is that you're passing around a block that has no weight, right? From a
But
validator.
if we get bonded and we had the problem in proposing, we can try again, like in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Meta, you also wanted to look at fault tolerance.
Uh-huh.
Please do. We're at the half hour.
Yep, I see fault tolerances that are less than -1. Block number 5 had a -1 fault tolerance, but some of them have -0.51, which is nicer. So you can look at, you do show blocks. I think I'm proposing most of the blocks. It would be better if others would propose blocks.
Does anyone have a contract that they wanted to play with?
Oh yes, fault tolerance is coming on 9. 1.
I have, but I can't.
You can't. What's your blocker?
Yeah, the fact the proposal doesn't work. But I can paste it in the chat.
Are you bonded?
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't manage to propose so far. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to be bonded, but I'm not yet.
Jeff, what command are you looking for? The run command?
I'll deploy a smart contract if that's cool.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
I'm trying to do my rnode run command, but I'm getting a can't parse the rnode bootstrap address.
So odds are you have not encapsulated the entirety of the address in quotation marks.
Okay.
Check that.
Or you have an illegal character in it, yeah.
Yeah. I'll put a link in the window where you can see exactly what it should look like. Here's
You know, Michael, it occurs to me that in order to programmatically propose, I suppose a node needs to know how many deploys it's gathered.
Vadim, yes, there's one. I think there's one left. Here, I'm putting a link in the window. This is for Vadim to go get the last, on row 23, the last available wallet address.
I have a question. Each time my node wants to receive some missing blocks, I get this warning: ignoring block because block signature is empty, or signature algorithm is unsupported, or creator has 0 weight. These 3 kind of warnings. So is it something wrong on my end?
That's pretty interesting. We've seen that before. We had someone look into it and they couldn't reproduce. So it must be some very rare circumstance that makes it happen, but it does mean that we should reopen that ticket, I guess.
Yes, so a couple things. I will look for the ticket, but please be prepared to pull and add your log. Your log is stored by default in a file called rnode.log. But let me work on finding the ticket and give you a landing place to put that. What was the error again? I wasn't fully paying attention. It's a signature?
Yes, it's about signature is empty, signature algorithm is unsupported.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting I'm trying to deploy a contract. I'm getting I use -p and I got flow -price not found.
Yeah, there's 3 parameters you have to include. You have to include the flow price, the flow limit. The flow limit needs to be the big number. The flow price can be the number 1. And then you need the wallet address, which you can just put 0x1 for the wallet address.
So I don't think I bonded. So do I just go through the same steps of being a validator because it's not letting me propose?
Yeah, go through it again. And my node's up and running and healthy. I apologize. My thread pools got out of hand, and that's what happened.
I'm gonna. I thought this looked right.
Meta, can I deploy actually my contract to your node?
You certainly can. You're missing one more parameter, Ned. You need the flow exchange rate to be 1. And I don't know what the leading parameter is for that.
Is Meta your IP?
Paolo just put in there. 108.72.685.
Forgive me, I didn't catch the name of who was having the bug, but if you will look in the chat window, there is a link to the ticket. And if you would just add in comments any information, all information that would help support us reproducing your experience, as well as your complete log that's found in rnode.log.
I'm confused about the...
Sorry.
Can someone post the deploy command correctly?
Thank you.
Meta, I deploy to your node if you want to propose.
Okay.
Here is, I can show a deploy command that worked.
I posted the deploy command as well on the Discord chat if anyone is interested.
Okay, and Dror just posted in the chat window here. Thank you. Thanks, both of you.
Thanks, Dror.
The status of the ticket it's done. I don't know.
It is. We are going to. I'm going to reopen that because it is clearly not. If you're experiencing it, but we were not. It's marked as done because we were not able to reproduce it.
Michael, you're still getting unslashable block, huh?
What Java version do we need for running this tool?
What Java version?
The same as NodeWorks should work.
My node is in Docker.
It's Java 8. That might not be the complete information.
Do we need to specify the gRPC host when deploying? If we're already bonded?
No, if you're already bonded, you do not.
When deploying, you do. Oh yeah, if you're going to deploy, you can deploy to your own node then.
John tried proposing another block, Meta.
Mm-hmm.
I see 15 blocks. I see 23 peers.
I just sent out block 17.
Dror, why so few blocks? Jeremy, are you bonded?
Maybe that's why I'm not bonded.
I tried being bonded 2 times. I guess I'm still not for some odd reason. Like I already did all the steps.
Jeremy, can you do show blocks and see how many blocks you have?
So Per, there's not a great way right now to know that you are
19.
bonded other than you can successfully deploy and propose. There will be better support for that confirmation in a week or so.
Yeah, Meta. I received the logs from my contract. Thank you.
Did you see your contract come back around in a block?
Yeah, I received the log that was supposed to be written by my main contract.
Excellent. So the deploy worked. Great.
So what does
Yeah.
no new deploys mean when I do a propose?
It means that you didn't deploy anything to your node before you tried proposing.
But I did.
Did you get a success message?
Yes, I did.
Oh. Sometimes I've had this happen
you-
before. You can try again.
The whole deploy.
No, just try propose again. I've gotten that message before, and it was just a matter of trying again.
Okay.
Mike, are you up to date with the state? Do you have all the blocks? Yeah, you have 18. Interesting.
Okay. No, I'm still getting that.
If I get a invalid slashable block, does that mean I'm not properly bonded? I was able to deploy but not propose.
Likewise.
Yes, that is what that means.
Yeah, I've been getting that as well.
Oh, but you were bonded.
Well, I think I thought I was bonded.
I guess nobody has bonded yet.
I identified as bonded.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
Has anyone
Sorry.
No, let's go. Continue.
I'll try running a deploy again, but I think it's going to give me invalid slashable block again. Invalid unslashable block, that is.
Okay,
but
so
I love seeing our block count grow. That's super exciting.
that is very cool. So we have 15 minutes left. I wonder if is it worthwhile, since a number of people are not bonded and would like to be, should we step through it together?
The question is, has anyone bonded yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Who has bonded? And did they bond from Meta's machine? Because that's what I attempted.
Michael.
I never successfully bonded.
Oh.
So, but I did see that a couple people did successfully bond. So, I don't know.
Now, are you able to restart the process from the beginning, Michael? Or what happens?
Well, I tried deploying against your node a second time and letting you propose some blocks, but I didn't have any different results. There's not enough information to try to debug it, though.
Yeah, because we simplify. We don't have the entire tuple space hash in the blocks anymore, do we?
Well, you can look it up, right? You can do it block by block.
Yeah.
Show block still shows it. So I could, yeah, it would take a long time, but I could in principle try to look for, anyways, yeah, I can take that offline. In some sense, it's good that I couldn't bond because it means that I can debug it using everything that I know about my node.
Right.
So since the contract the Meta deployed from me is actually a voting contract, then there is this link here where people can grab some other contracts that will be the clients to vote. If somebody wants to try, somebody who's bonded.
I'll try.
Guys, I'm trying to catch up with you. So do you have instructions to get bonded? Once I have those 3 files from this Java tool, what should I do next?
You should deploy them to someone who is already bonded and they will propose a block. And when your node receives that block, you will also be bonded.
You have to deploy the file that says bond_last. I think the unlock goes first, right, Michael? Is there an order?
Yep. Unlock, forward, bond. Unlock and forward don't really need to be in any particular order, but bond, yeah, should go last.
Okay, I'll try that. Thanks.
Michael, what happens if the unlock and forward happen? I guess if they happen in different blocks, it shouldn't matter, right? In principle.
No, it shouldn't matter.
Hey guys, good morning. I just had a couple basic questions.
Go for it.
I was wondering if we're still using a wallets file.
There's a wallets file on the Bootstrap node. You don't need a wallets file.
Okay. So just to
You
get an
only need a
idea,
wallets file if you're...
Do I need deploy time and required SIGs?
No. You only need wallet file and bond file and all that other jazz if you're either creating the Genesis block or validating the Genesis block. But for the purposes of testing today, the Genesis block exists and no one has validated it. It just is a thing.
I see. Okay. Could you send an example of the Docker command that we're supposed to run?
I'm not sure what the Docker command looks like precisely, but it's however you normally run rnode. So like up until rnode, that's Docker, whatever. Do that. And then you specify the gRPC host, right? So I'll maybe copy paste the just last part of my command because this should be pretty much the same across everything.
Oh, wait.
Right? So you specify the host, you give the deploy command, you specify all the price related stuff, and then the last one is the file.
I see. Okay. So we're not spinning up a node where...
Well, you should have your own node already running in the background. And for that, it's just, I'll paste that command as well. For that, it's just the usual command. You specify what the bootstrap is, and you specify your validator key.
Kelly, it
Our
would be
validator
great
key has to be the one from the document?
Yes, it's the one from the node spreadsheet.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Meta, I'm proposing.
Thank you, Kelly. It worked.
Good. I'll try another one. That was super fun. Here comes another one.
Any idea about this new deploy error?
So when you do a deploy, you should see it pop up in your server console. If you see the deploy pop in your server console, it'll say new deploy received. Only after that should you try to hit propose.
Even though I get a success on the deploy.
Are you deploying to your node?
I'm deploying to, I think, your node.
Oh, to my node. But you shouldn't be proposing then. I have
Meta needs to deploy.
I need to propose.
Or propose, yeah.
You can't force my node to propose.
Okay. So
all you can do is send a request for my node to propose your deploy, right? Because it's the act of proposing a block that puts a validator at slashing risk.
Okay, gotcha. So how does one send you a request?
You just do a deploy.
So
There's
when
no request to propose.
Gotcha. So when I do a deploy, it kind of goes into a queue, and then it's up to you who I deployed against to then propose it.
Exactly.
So is there a command that you would run periodically to look at all the available?
No, that's what I was mentioning to Michael, is that we probably need to have a metric of how many deploys has my node received since the last block proposal.
Gotcha. And then once you've got that number, you could then, I guess there's a command to get their names, and then you can propose them?
No, I don't need to get their names. My node would just propose.
It would just propose, do a blanket propose.
Proposes are all blanket.
Okay.
It just bundles up everything and proposes a block.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So there's no way to kind of be picky about what you propose.
Correct.
Okay.
An interesting observation. Sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, this is cool, Paolo.
I
just wanted to say, sorry, that this time my node is blocked on 6 blocks. So I don't know if you guys want my logs, because first time was 2 blocks, now it's 6 blocks.
Where is your node located?
US East. It's in AWS.
Is AWS. Anyone else in AWS having trouble getting blocks?
Nope. I am on AWS and I have no problems.
I'm on AWS. I have 31 blocks.
Block passing seems to be a little bit better this time.
Interesting observation. I was able to propose on Matter's node. So
yeah, I've opened it up. I haven't closed the propose, but yes, you should be able to propose. Typically, you won't be able to do that, but yes.
Yeah.
Paolo, I should rerun any of the voting contracts?
Yeah, just to see if the contract will say that it's closed.
Okay.
I see that, submitting a request to close the vote. That's really cool, Paolo.
Thank you.
Can you please remind me, once I have now deployed all those 3 contracts, including the last one, bond, how can I understand that the operation was successful, given that I've seen that it was successful propose?
We don't have a confirmation yet for bonding. We are waiting. We're going to be building that next week.
Okay, any other secondary implicit? Maybe someone received the correct block or...
Yeah, so if you are successfully bonded, you should be able to deploy and propose to your own node. So the node that's running, yes, right, using that validator key, you should be able to propose and deploy now. Deploy and propose.
Okay. Thanks.
I have a quick question about what was discussed like 2 minutes ago about the propose. Does the propose always have to pick all the deployments? Because I think that it creates a possibility, for example, that I can put a really small flow price, and it will have to be included by a person that is doing the propose. Is that correct at the moment?
At the moment, that's correct, but pricing also doesn't even work right now. So, this is in progress, evolving. We'll probably put in some filter configurable thing that validators can use.
Okay, thanks for explanation.
Oh, we have a new node coming up.
Yep. All right, I see 42 blocks.
Yeah,
Kelly, how did it go?
Back in with the other nodes.
So, Paolo, from my perspective, running the contracts easy. I guess, what was the expected outcome after I tried to vote again after closing?
If you see the logs, you should see if a user requested something that was valid or invalid. Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, okay, I see it now.
Great. Look at that. Now the final thing is that if you use the verify contract, there's supposed to be a channel that gets the results back from voting.
Okay, let me try that one.
So Michael, if the fault tolerance for blocks is -1, what are the implications of that? Are there any implications? Just that no other validators voted on these blocks, right? I mean, these are all blocks that my node built.
Yeah, pretty much. -1 means that it's got no safety at all. So it is not confirmed by any other validator.
But Kelly's node probably has the blocks. They all have the blocks. They just haven't built blocks on top of it. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, if Kelly was to propose a block, would the clique safety for all of those shift?
The clique safety for everything below the new block that she makes will change.
Okay, Kelly, so if you can propose a block.
I just did within the past 30 seconds. It is block the chat. So Paolo, I deployed the verify.
Okay, let's see. If you grab your logs with the vote word,
okay.
There should be something like results from vote.
Seems that somebody's proposing on my behalf.
On your behalf?
Well, someone's proposing remotely. Because I'm getting deploys and then I try to propose like no new deploys. I'm like, wait, I have a deploy here.
Oh, that's me.
It's okay. I'm like, somebody's proposing. Somebody's proposing.
Yeah, I want to make sure that my deploys will get in the block, but I'm still not a validator or not bonded validator.
Submitting a request to close the vote, tallying the vote.
Yeah, it seems like this. Did you get it?
I think so.
Can you paste it, please?
Just trying to make sure. It's not clear to me.
There should be a line that says results from vote and showing which user was able to vote.
Oh.
Michael, I have an observation here. So the clique safety for these blocks is 1.0. The only people that have been proposing blocks is Kelly and myself. That makes me think that nobody else is bonded. Is that?
Sorry, which blocks are at 1.0?
Almost
like
all of
the
the
recent
blocks.
block?
Yeah, well, almost all the blocks of blockchain show 1.0 in terms of fault tolerance, which is good, but that also makes me think that nobody else is bonded. Because arguably, if the other validators had bonded, the fault tolerance wouldn't be 1.0, right?
Yeah. I'd have to look at it more carefully, but the intuition, yes, is 1.0 should mean everyone's confirmed this.
Right. Is anyone else proposing from their node?
I wasn't able.
But we can look at the various senders on the blocks, right? So this is something that we can do post testing analysis.
I'm working on proposing on my own.
I'm proposing and I'm getting successful responses unless I'm completely on some other network.
What block number do you have for your proposal? I can see if I have it in my chain.
1 second.
Hey, so my node just dropped out, and so when I try to connect, I can see where earlier we were proposing a lot of blocks, but then when I do show blocks on mine, it keeps showing up as the block length being 1. Is there any reason for that?
That means you don't have any of the blocks. So either you're on a different network or you haven't received any of the blocks from us.
That's the thing, like I saw where you guys were proposing, I'm connected to the same, I see all the peers, but it's still showing up as block one after I have to reconnect in.
Guys, I have exactly the same issue, like for 3 minutes because I restarted my node, but now I have like 6 blocks already. So maybe you just need to wait.
Yes.
So on my my current, I did it show blocks, and I checked all the sender of those blocks. It was always Meta and Kelly for all the blocks, all 45.
Okay, thank you whoever did that. That is very helpful information. So yes, that probably means that there's not very many people bonded.
Meta, I deployed something.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I deployed something to your node. Can you propose?
It's all fine and well until the thread pools get too big. Okay.
Okay, so I'm.
Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
There's a
I'm looking in at the bonds and seeing who is bonded, and yes, it looks like it is just you and Kelly. Also, my other key, which I don't have a node running for at the moment, but yeah, that's the only ones that I see as of the most recent block, which is block number 46.
So it could be a couple things. I'm wondering if there was just lack of clarity in terms of how to bond and confusion as people did it, that it didn't happen correctly, or did it truly
Well,
not
it didn't work for me, and in principle, I know how to do it. So.
Yeah, well, I hope you do, Michael. Okay.
I do too.
It's the top of the hour, and we need to wrap up. Michael, do you have any other information that you need from this group?
I don't think so, because since my own node didn't work, I've got,
you've got the complete
everything
logs.
I need.
Wonderful. There's also a question in this chat, Meta, related to sharding functionality being a part of the Mercury deliverable.
The plan is to include sharding as part of Mercury.
Hey, Kelly, I know we're over, but I can't deploy on my own node now.